The Out of Bounds Show is powered by the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
The Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by the #1 commercial roofing company in Mississippi, Independent Roofing Systems. Roofing.ms is their website. #1 commercial roofing company in the state of Mississippi, Independent Roofing Systems. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone, the Out of Bounds Show. Our guests join us on the Yuengling Lager guest line. And we welcome in Trey Schaap, 103.7 The Buzz, Arkansas Razorbacks insider. And Trey joins us on the Out of Bounds Show. Trey, a lot of excitement the last couple of years in what Sam Pittman and Barry Odom and Kendall Briles have been able to do with that Arkansas program. Do people just absolutely adore Sam Pittman, just his makeup, his personality in the state of Arkansas?
I think if he wanted to run for governor right now, he could, and he would win in a landslide. Yeah, everybody has really taken to his, just relaxed, ho-hum atmosphere and what he's trying to build at Arkansas, and has turned the damn jukebox on after wins at Arkansas. And it's just been a pleasant 2 years so far as we head into year 3 with Sam Pittman. And I say 2 years, the first year was a COVID year, and it was all SEC opponents, and he won 3 games, and that was the first time Arkansas had won SEC games since Brett Bielema was the head coach. So, yeah, he's been a welcome reprieve, if you will, on the Hill.
Turn the damn jukebox on, Sam Pittman. I love him. We've had him on the show, and neat guy. I would have to believe as someone in the media and everybody else that does different things in Arkansas, radio, TV, podcast, whatever's going on, that they love the fact that they've got a guy that will give them some personality and lend himself to them and to the Arkansas people.
No, you're right. And he's going to tell you, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. And he said that before when it comes to dealing with injuries. He goes, I'm not going to hide anything from you. He goes, just sometimes I don't want our opponent to know. And so as a media member, you got to kind of think, yes, he's trying to keep everything as close to the vest as he can, but he still wants to give us information to where we can do our jobs. And as someone in the media, as a journalist, you have to respect that from the head coach. Because if he gave you everything that's going on, well, we know in this day and age, it's going to be in the hands of the opponents within 5 seconds because of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. The internet, it's going to be out there. And so he understands that, but he also understands we have a job to do, and he lets us do our job.
Was there any friction on this new contract extension? Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director, hey, he's the one that gave Sam Pittman a shot. Sam probably was never going to be a head coach. He wasn't even a coordinator, although he was coaching arguably the most important unit on the field at Georgia, and before that at Arkansas, as you know. But was there any friction the last few months before they got the contract extension done for Sam Pittman in Arkansas?
I don't think so, because I think what Sam Pittman and Hunter Yurachek wanted, they wanted the same things. When Hunter Yurachek became the head coach of the University of Arkansas, he said, look, I think it's time that we do away with these enormous buyouts, because if you can't win football games and we have to get rid of you, that's poor performance on the coach's resume. That's them being basically inept at their job, if you will. So that should be a reason for you to be terminated. We shouldn't have to pay you $18-20 million to walk away from a job because we have to get rid of you because you can't win football games. And so I think this is where he and Sam Pittman are kind of on the same stage, because if Sam Pittman doesn't win at Arkansas, he can be terminated, but he gets some money, but he doesn't get the full amount of money that's left on his contract. And so that's where they were kind of on the same page. And Sam Pittman has said many, many times, Bo, that he wants this to be his last job. He said, it is going to be my last job. I'm where I want to be. This is it. How long does he stay? We don't know yet, but he wants this to be his last job.
Trey Schaap, Arkansas Razorbacks insider on the Yuengling Lager guest line. Ole Miss will have to go to Arkansas. Mississippi State will host Arkansas. Leach 0-2 against Pittman. Lane and Sam Pittman have split, and last year's game was unbelievable as far as entertainment. You know what's interesting about your schedule, Trey? I don't know if y'all, I'm sure you'll have talked about this at some point in time. Is that you pull three pretty darn tough non-conference opponents. I mean, you pull Cincinnati, BYU, and Liberty, and they have all won big. Have y'all talked about that at all during the offseason?
Oh, yeah. The fact that Cincinnati's the opener, it's going to be a 2:30 kickoff, which is going to be probably 105 degrees in Fayetteville. I know it's getting up there into the triple digits today and this week. And we have talked about the non-conference schedule. And look, everybody that's on Arkansas' schedule this year played postseason football last year. Even Missouri State made the playoffs at the FCS level, and they're coached by former Razorback head coach Bobby Petrino, by the way. So you know that game is going to have a lot of significance the third week of the season after Arkansas opens with Cincinnati and South Carolina at home. You mentioned that BYU game. That's on the road in Provo in the middle of October. If I'm Arkansas, I would like to have that game a little bit earlier instead of right after you've played Alabama at Mississippi State, and it's the game before your open date. So yeah, they'll go to BYU, and then Liberty and what Hugh Freeze is doing over there, coming to Fayetteville, November the 5th. Arkansas plays one game at home in the month of October, and that's Alabama on October the 1st.
Wow. All right. With KJ Jefferson, what's the talk around with Kendall Briles and the offensive staff? Like, how much better can he be? And what else are y'all expecting from his game going into the 2022 season? He's a Mississippi kid.
Well, he's got to find a go-to receiver because he's losing Treylon Burks. And you can't replace Treylon Burks with one person. You have to have a group, multiple receivers to replace Treylon Burks. But I believe I think they found some guys that might be able to do that. Hazelwood's a transfer that they're looking for to step up, 6'3", 211 pounds. He's a redshirt junior. That I think they're looking to him to step up. And KJ's going to have to run the football. You saw him run the football in the win in the second half against Penn State in the Outback Bowl last year. And I think he's going to have to use his legs a little bit more. And they've also toyed with moving Malik Hornsby, who was KJ's backup last year, to the wide receiver spot to try and get him on the field more. He is fast, and if he can get his hands on the ball, get him in a little bit of open space, he might be able to create something and give some defenses fits. Kendall Briles is at Arkansas because Sam Pittman wants him at Arkansas, and Sam Pittman lets him run the offense. Sam Pittman, now, he might say something like, okay, if it's 3rd and 1, we don't get a first down, we're going to punt it on 4th and 1 because you couldn't get it on 3rd and 1. What makes me think you're going to get it on 4th and 1? But then at times he'll tell him, if he gets in a situation, he goes, hey, you got 2 downs to make it here. And so Kendall's got that ability to create a play call knowing that if I don't get it, we're still going to go for it on 4th down. And so I think Kendall and KJ have a great relationship to where they joke around a lot, but when they get on the field and they get in the meeting rooms, it's all focused on football. And look, KJ's got a lot of people out there that still think that he's not that good. He has been listed on some preseason watch lists and everything. He wasn't on an all-SEC preseason team this year, so he sees all of that, and I think he's a kid that wants to show that he can get it done, and he is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. And I asked him at football media days a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, what game besides Cincinnati, because I know they're all coached up to say the first game, is he looking forward to the most? And he said, well, outside of Cincinnati? I said, yes, outside of Cincinnati, because he asked me again. And he said, it's got to be the Ole Miss game, because that game last year was kind of epic. And for them to fall a 2-point conversion short, the penalty on the play, but a 2-point conversion short of beating Ole Miss in Mississippi, I think he wants to try and get revenge, if you will, for that one.
Trey Schaap, Arkansas insider on the Yuengling Lager guest line. Would you say it's fair? Is it fair to say that Arkansas lost a ton of veterans off last year's team?
Well, I don't know about a ton. I mean, they lost some veterans, but they also have some back, like a Bumper Pool at linebacker. You've got Jalen Catalon, who got injured in the Texas A&M game, broke his hand and kept playing. Already had a banged-up shoulder in that game, and he's back. And those two guys, SEC people might remember those names because they've been suspended for some games because of the way they hit. And so if they can avoid that, Jalen Catalon, I believe, led the team in tackles as a freshman, if I'm not mistaken. And I know Bumper Pool had over 100 tackles last year. So those are two guys that are back. I think if Arkansas can shore up the defensive line, I think they're happy on the offensive side of the ball at the running back position with Rocket Sanders and Johnson. I think they're good there. And I think they're fine on the offensive line. I mean, you've got a head coach that was an offensive line coach, and he can recruit. So I think they're quietly optimistic about what they have and are comfortable with what they have.
Are Arkansas Razorback fans, you think, I mean, fans don't have a lot of awareness, whatever they are. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. That's what makes our job so much fun. Are fans aware that the odds are this will be the last year of this dynamic duo of coordinators being together? I mean, there were strong rumors that Barry Odom was going to get other opportunities and did last year. I think he's absolutely brilliant as a defensive coordinator and kind of got a raw deal at Missouri as the head coach. Do you think that fans are aware that this could be the last year of the dynamic coordinator duo being together?
I don't think they are, because money talks in this business, and I think if Arkansas will keep throwing money at them, that fans believe that they're going to stay Razorbacks, and they have a great relationship with Sam Pittman. Barry Odom has said many times, look, I could have taken this job. I could have gone here. I could have gone there. The only reason one of the main reasons I'm here is because of Sam Pittman. And they have grown to like Fayetteville, Arkansas, and what it is like raising their families in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I think if you're looking from the Arkansas fan perspective, they believe that they're going to be here. Now, like you said, looking from the outside, maybe not, because there have been courtships, if you will, that just haven't panned out with Barry Odom, and even with Kendall Briles as well.
Okay. We'll wrap it up with this. Sam Pittman, when he's out and about, like on the barbecue circuit, I mean, do people just go, does he work the room? I call it the beer and barbecue circuit in the SEC. Can he work the room and shake hands and kiss babies?
He can do it like no one you've ever seen. Yes. Period. He's good.
I love it.
He's real good.
So he's at the top of his game. You won a lot of games last year, coming off the bowl win. And so, I see him as a guy when he enters these rooms, he'll stop and talk to fans and take pictures when he can. Is that the case?
Yes. Oh yeah. No, he will. And in fact, the interview room at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium has some open glass to where fans that are in that north touchdown club area, they kind of hang around to watch him come in for the press conference. Now, after a loss, he keeps his head down. He's walking to the podium. But after a win, I mean, he's in there, waving to him and everything. After the Texas win last year, he's waving to them. They're beating on the windows and everything. And I mean, we kind of need to put blinds in there so they can't see in, but I don't think they're going to do that. But yeah, he's hobnobbing and, like, hello, but he's also a coach, Bo, that when they win, the credit goes to the players and the assistant coaches. When they lose, he takes the blame. And so that's something that is kind of new over the last several years to Razorback fans, to where he's not going to throw the players under the bus for a loss. He's going to take the blame, saying, hey, look, I screwed up. I didn't have the team ready. That's what he said against Georgia last year. I didn't have the team ready to play. And so he also knows, though, looking at the three major sports in college, football, basketball, baseball, the baseball team finished third this year, went to the College World Series. The basketball team back-to-back Elite Eight. He understands that he needs to up his game with the football to get on par, to get on the same level as those other two sports. And the fans, they're willing to support it. They just want to win.
Sure. We'll leave it there. Trey Schaap, 103.7 The Buzz, Arkansas Razorbacks insider, talking Sam Pittman and the Hogs. And had two super close games last year with Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and Arkansas split with them. And Ole Miss will head there, and Mississippi State will host the Hogs on October 8th. And I expect that to be a close game, too. So there we go. Trey, thank you, man. Appreciate it, buddy.
You bet. Uh-huh.
Trey Schaap joining us on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. They love him. They love him, not just in Fayetteville, but all across the state of Arkansas. With his outgoing, he's personable, really likes being around people, can work the room. They love him right now in Arkansas. I think this will be the last year that they have the dynamic duo coordinator tandem. But what a run it's been, and you want to soak it up as long as you have it. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's I love, when you're in the circle, it's hard to see what's going on around you at times. Money talks, but so does money from other head coaching opportunities, right?
Right.
I mean, so I love that, but it doesn't surprise me that it has been a honeymoon-like atmosphere, because if you look at the
following
wins
Morris,
exactly, and look at what they've done to win. They've had big wins. Texas is I don't care how down Texas was last year. When you beat them at home and you're Sam Pittman, that's a monster win.
Absolutely. The first year when they beat Ole Miss and Mississippi State, that was two of his three wins.
Yeah.
Now, Grant, we only played 10 games. They were all SEC games. Two of his first three wins that his first year were against Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget that they had gone SEC winless for like 2 years, which is crazy.
That's a long time.
It's a long time
in the world of sports, college football. I mean, that's how bad Chad Morris was.
Yeah, they were trending Vanderbilt, not the right way.
To go over,
that's brutal.
Is hard to do.
That's brutal.
0-8.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see. I think it's an unfortunate coincidence that in what is most likely the final year of this threesome monster of Bryles and Odom and Pittman all together. It's unfortunate that their schedule, if you're an Arkansas fan, is so difficult.
Right.
It's a very difficult schedule.
Cincinnati, BYU, and Liberty to go along with everybody else that you have to play in the SEC. Now, I think they should win all three of those games.
Yes, but they're tougher than they need to be.
They're tougher and they have to go to BYU, and you don't ever know what's going to go on there.
Yeah.
And, kind of homer officiating and things like that.
Compare it to what Ole Miss has as their non-con. It's just night and day.
It's night and day.
And they're equal teams in theory.
Cincinnati was in the college football playoff. Did they deserve to be? No, but they were there because they went undefeated.
Yeah. Now, at least Arkansas pulls Missouri and South Carolina. You could have a lot worse. But,
no doubt.
But, I mean, Spencer Rattler, I don't want to sell Shane Beamer. They won a couple games I didn't expect them to win.
Auburn and Florida.
Maybe they can be better this year than some people expect.
Yeah, I think that's what will they do with Spencer Rattler?
What can he do?
Oklahoma transfer, now at South Carolina. Beamer takes him in the portal.
Kind of shocking that he went there. I mean,
well, he knew Shane because Shane was the assistant head coach and tight ends coach on that side of the ball at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So it did make sense. Oh, no. I think Shane was the recruiting coordinator at Oklahoma too.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have been right there with Lincoln or Lincoln's QB starting about his junior year and had a very, very, tight bond with Spencer Rattler. I think we forget not only did Ole Miss land Jackson Dart, but South Carolina landed, Spencer Rattler, and Texas A&M landed Max Johnson from LSU.
Auburn landed Zach Calzada from A&M.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
I think there's like 5 transfer starting QBs this year. It's pretty crazy.
That's right.
LSU has one from Arizona State. They just don't expect him to start. Jaden Daniels.
But
they don't expect him to start.
From Arizona State. Dan Mullen, let's switch gears. Dan Mullen will be with ESPN this year. Studio analyst.
He was good in the few playoff / bowl game appearances he's done over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I know the SEC network likes to bring in coaches for their, what do they call it, the mega cast or whatever, when they do the championship games, like the SEC championship and then the playoffs. So he's made some appearances before. Where do you think he falls in the whole, we put Romo up here and we put Drew Brees down here, and there's like a scale of successability in between? Where do you think Dan Mullen will fall as a broadcaster?
Well, he'll be studio instead of color analyst, which is totally different. I think Dan can be really good on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think, he's done so much of it now, being at Mississippi State and Florida, and a big chunk of that was with the SEC network. And you do so many media hits. Mm-hmm. We forget he drove MSU to number 1. I mean, he's been in big games. He has been interviewed by everybody under the sun, ESPN platform, CBS, and everything else. He's done all the big SEC media days. And so I think he's comfortable in front of a microphone. He also understands how to get it out quick, right? How to, because it's TV is short. You got to go.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I don't know what studio show he'll be on.
I think you got to think they're going to try to use as much of him as you can, right?
I would think so.
Mac Brown was better than some people than I thought he might have been. Urban Meyer was fantastic,
and he'll be
compared to what people thought he might have been.
Really good this year.
Yeah.
Is that a done deal?
I'm not sure. I have to go back and look.
We need to look at that. All right, good show today. If you missed any of it, hit Apple Podcasts, search the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds, and Spotify, search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Show brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, the #1 commercial roofing company in the state of Mississippi. Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. And also Mac Hike in Flowood for your next pre-owned SUV or truck. And look, this is super important. If you need to get your entertainment system up to par, all right, before football season, go to mssmarthomes.com. mssmarthomes.com. Thanks for listening to the show today. We'll see you tomorrow.